What's going on, everyone? Come on in and check out the new grow room. Let's go. Check it out, you guys. This is Grow Room 2.0. This grow room is years of problem solving, all culminating into this year being the year. We had so many problems in this grow room that we kind of just dealt with, and we voiced them, we vocalized them, we kind of showed you what we were doing about them, but we never really had a good permanent fix. That wasn't until Holly, who works with us, she's our greenhouse manager. She comes with an extensive background of plant management, greenhouse management, and plant health. And so she kind of got us set up with what we have today, and that is our Grow Room 2.0. So the first thing I want to do is kind of go through some of the problems that we had, and then I'll show you some of the fixes as we go. So the first problem is that the building is 105 years old. It's a very old building, and so with a 105 years old building, there's a lot of areas for it to be drafty, primarily up top. It's very, very drafty because heat would essentially rise in this old cinder block kind of cave that we're in, and it would become a heat sink. All the heat that was formed would rise, meaning it was very cold and drafty. And plants don't like cold and drafty. They really prefer warm and consistent. And that was very challenging. So we'd have to put them on heat mats and do everything we could to boost the heat up in here, have a fan sitting in the doorway pumping the heat in, because there's no heat vents in here. The central air does not get into the core of this building here. And that's just because, again, we're in like a cinder block chamber. So it's really cold, it's really drafty, and that's not great for germination. It's not great for overall plant health. Can it work? Yeah, so we made it work, but it just was very cumbersome. Second problem was the fact that we had humidity issues. You see, our headquarters here is running on a central dehumidifier. We have it as low as humanly possible, 365 days out of the year. It is always dry because our seeds need dry. Seeds do not like moisture whatsoever. So we have it nice and dry. The downside is that plants dry out so much faster when the air is dry. And so because they dry out so fast, we were constantly watering, it was constant maintenance, and it became a very, just again, another cumbersome task. Could we keep up with it? Yes. Did we want to? Not without making some changes. So we made some changes. Third problem that we had was lighting. This area here was really challenging to expand. Almost all of our seedlings that go into our greenhouse are started right here in this room. That's right, about 16,000 seedlings get started in this room. And as we were expanding and growing the greenhouse, our lighting situation was getting more and more challenging. So we had to expand on that. And then with that came another problem, and that was space. Again, we're in a concrete cinder block cave here. Really difficult to expand as the greenhouse continued to expand. And so we had some changes that we made there, and those were some pretty nice changes that I think you're going to enjoy. And so with that, let's go through some of the changes we made. And there are also changes that you can apply in your house that can really kind of take your seed grow room, your seed starting grow room, to the next level. The first thing that we had to fix was the temperature. It was by far the worst issue with the whole grow room. And so Holly devised this method of actually draping a greenhouse plastic over top. It just was like really, really thick plastic that she draped over top from up above, draped it down, and then basically weighed it down on this shelf here. We could have, pinned it or nailed it, really any way to fix it, but she just weighed it down on the other side there so that essentially it's creating almost this kind of greenhouse that's cut. It's acted as a roof, which has cut the overall volume, room volume, in about half, maybe even more than half in some cases, because this was really, really tall. You never saw up here, and now it does look a little bit like a scene from Dexter, but it was super tall and you never saw it. This was such a heat sink, and it was by far the worst part about this grow room. It was constantly cold. It was constantly drafty, and it was almost to the point where even in summertime, it stayed so cold and drafty, you almost could wear a sweatshirt in here in the summertime. It was just not ideal at all. And to be honest, it's actually remarkable. Since putting this plastic up, Holly has managed to take our grow room from probably an average of like around 58 to 62 degrees, somewhere in there. It's pretty comfortable at right around, with the lights running and all the heat being generated, it's probably right around 68 to 70 degrees. Like, that's a massive difference. More than 10% improvement in overall ambient temperature, which the plants are gonna love that. Next, we have our doors. So we decided that once we got the plastic up top, that wouldn't fully solve the issue, because we also had the issue of how dry the air was. So on top of just locking in heat, we also had the problem of just the ambient air being so dry. So we have two doors. This is the other door. Behind you is the second door. We have them on just a little drawstring kind of tie, so that when we want to walk in and out, we don't have anything going on, we can just tie them back. But just like curtains that have that curtain cuff there at the base, we can just pull that, close these doors once we have seedlings in here. And not only will it help to hold the heat in, but it helps to hold the humidity in. This is something you can absolutely do in your house. It certainly helps to kind of lock in those growing conditions, because you might not want a very hot, humid environment, but plants absolutely love that. They love 60, 70 degrees at a minimum, up to like 85 degrees on the high end, right? 85 degrees. I don't want my house being 85 degrees. My plants love it though. I don't want my house to be muggy and 70% humidity and feel like the Amazon rainforest. The plants absolutely love that. They love 60% humidity. They will thrive in 60% humidity. And so how I live versus how my plants live are polar opposites. And so because of that, this can lock in that environment and really help. It also really helps to cut down on mold and mildew, because that is something that people face in a grow room. If you have a lot of wood, a lot of drywall, stuff that can hold on to moisture, that's, that high humidity environment is not great in a house setting. And so by even lining the walls of your house with plastic, lining the ceiling, especially if you have a drop down ceiling where there's kind of that air void above, really making it as sterile as possible can help not only cut down on your heat differential, your humidity differential, but it also can further sterilize the environment, which cuts down on mold and mildew spores as well. And that's not even, we didn't even touch that because that wasn't even really a big problem for us. But if you have a house that has mold and mildew problems, putting in an air purifier in your grow room, sterilizing it with plastic, that is something that a lot of people can use to their benefit, and it can dramatically cut down on issues like damping off, mold and mildew and fungal outbreaks, and just give you an overall better grow room environment. So those are the doors, the big change there. Next, I want to go through our lighting, because that's by far probably the next biggest change that's happening. And that comes to our biggest upgrade that we've made in years, and that is our grow lights. So we had compact fluorescent setups over here for the past 5 years. And prior to that, we used them for 6 years at our house. So like 10, 11 years, we had compact fluorescent setups, and they just were getting to the point where they just were cumbersome. They were starting to not work as well. So we upgraded to these babies right here. Now, these are the largest grow light setups that VivoSun makes, not a sponsor by any means. I just really like their grow lights, and these suckers are bright with a capital B. You plug these suckers in, and it is like staring into the surface of the sun. It is so bright. These cover a space of 4 feet by 4 feet efficiently, meaning insane coverage. One of these grow lights puts out twice the lumens that our compact fluorescent setups did. And they are just insane how bright they are. So we have 4 of these grow lights. We have 4 of them that we're gonna have 3 here and 1 behind you to give us maximum light. And the last big fix that we had that was kind of just an ongoing problem was the space. And we basically took one of these rolling racks. We're gonna make another one as well. We use these out in the greenhouse for just overflow seedlings. And because they are a mesh, we were able to just hook with S-hooks under the underside and hang our old grow lights. These are the compact fluorescent ones, but we're gonna be using a couple LEDs with compact fluorescents, just kind of using what we had so we don't spend money unnecessarily. But this allows us to grow 2 extra layers of seedlings. And in fact, we could do more than that if we had more lights. We could do 3 or 4 layers of seedlings on just this vertical rack here. And that is a very simple way. And this is probably the biggest take home for all of you that are short on space. Probably one of the biggest things we hear from people that would like to have a grow room or would like to have seedlings would say, I would love to have a seedling room. Problem is I don't have the space. I'm putting them in my living room. I'm putting them in my dining room. Like, you know, I'm putting them in my window, and my window's only so big. This right here is by far the most practical way to save space because you're going vertical, and because you're in a rack system like this, you are basically only using up maybe 6 to 8 square feet. Pretty streamlined, pretty compact, and again, it gives you that beautiful space-saving ability. So this gives us about 8 square feet, 16 square feet. We're gonna have another one, so we'll have 32 additional square feet of seedling growing space. And that might not seem like a lot, but when you're starting your seeds like we do, in these 250 cell trays, check it out. I mean, we're talking, this whole bottom rack here is all seedling trays. And there is some tremendous growing ability. We can grow about 1,000 seedlings per rack, which is just incredible. So those are the biggest problems and fixes for the grow room to Grow Room 2.0. Very excited about this. I cannot wait to show you as the season progresses how it goes, how things improve, and I think it's only up from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all learned something new. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what problems you have in your grow room, some solutions you found, and also let me know something that you thought was kind of interesting that we applied in our grow room that you might want to apply to your grow room as well. Some takeaways. I'd love to know. So as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you guys to grow bigger. Take care. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting MIgardener.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care. Bye.